Where to begin a theater history course always involves an arbitrary decision. Theater, as defined as a communal human expression, has probably existed since the dawn of humanity. But the story of the foundation of Western theater is essentially the story of the Greek city of Athens in the 5th and 4th centuries BC. It is a story dominated by 5 dramatists, 3 tragic, Aeschylus, Sophocles, and Euripides, and 2 comic, Aristophanes and Menander, and by Aristotle, theater's first theorist and critic. It is the story of how theater as we know it started in the worship of the god Dionysus and grew into a civic festival celebrating both the gods and the city itself during the golden age of Athenian democracy. I'm standing in the amphitheater on CGCC's campus in the Dalles, a type of public space that comes to us directly from the Greeks. Ancient Greek theaters were large open-air structures that took advantage of sloping hillsides for their terraced seating. The core of any Greek theater is the orchestra, the dancing place of the chorus, and the principal performance space. The audience sat in the theatron, the seeing place, on semicircular curved rows of benches. The Athenian theater was not a business like ours today, but was financed by the Athenian state as part of a religious festival, the city Dionysia. Theater emerged from the same impulse.
The origin of theatre might be found in the ritual circle or rectangle, the orchestra or dancing place laid out at the foot of a hill. Here Dionysus was celebrated, the Greek god of fertility and wine, said to be born out of the thigh of Zeus. The worship of Dionysus was ecstatic by nature. In the 6th century BC, the celebration became formalized and ritualized. Women were not allowed anymore to participate. Nearby the orchestra, a temple of Dionysus was built, and in the middle of the orchestra a thymele or altar was placed, and it is thought that the celebration started with the sacrificing of a goat, called trachos. A probably uniformly dressed chorus of up to 50 men sang, accompanied by perhaps more or less oriental sounding music, a so-called dithyrambe, a hymn. The 5th century BC is regarded as the golden age of the city-state Athens. At this time also tragedy was at its height in Athenian society. In this era, 32 tragedies of 3 playwrights have survived. We have seen the first playwright, Aeschylus, in the foregoing video. Sophocles, the second playwright, is credited with the introduction of a 3rd speaking actor. For centuries, the 3 actors became the formal convention. The actors could still play more than one character, distinguishing between them with masks. This change favored the interaction between actors and thus brought tragedy closer to a modern notion of dramatic plot. Sophocles is also credited for inventing scene painting by using painted panels or pinakes, similar to modern flats. A century later it might have looked like this. Sophocles is regarded as the most skillful of the 3 dramatists. His play, Oedipus Rex, or King Oedipus, is often called the most perfect Greek tragedy, although, by exception, he did not win the city of Dionysia with this play. Compared to Aeschylus, Sophocles created more complex and psychologically well-motivated characters. We now see a famous scene of Oedipus Rex, in which Oedipus fully realizes that he killed his father and married his mother. Aristotle called this change from ignorance to knowledge anagnorisis.